is gonna be fun. I haven't been drunk on a podcast in a minute.
And we are live with that note, ladies and gentlemen. But as always, as we start this motherfucker, we're talking NFL Week 12 recap. And we're going to need y'all to go down, like, and subscribe. Comment along the way. Because, like always, we are live this weekend or this weekday. I'm Paul
Oh,
Pickle, and I'm joined with.
hey man, it's your boy Trevor Water, voices boy, aka the Donkey. Like always, the realest on your screen. And even though we gonna see you one more time before Thanksgiving, I'm gonna wish you a happy Thanksgiving, you dirty mother trucker, because you deserve that. You deserve it all.
That bitch is
But
creeping up. We got 3 games Thanksgiving.
Paul, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a danger. If this is a dangerous episode right now, I'm under the influence. So I was after work today. We did like a little team bonding thing. We went to go to Bahama Breeze, and boy, them boys got some good drinks over at Bahama Breeze, and they have a happy hour from 4 to 6. So you know we locked in on them shits. So I had a little Bahama Rita. Then we had like this little tropical carnival thing. It was fine. This niggas
Was
didn't
it
want
like
the
a
drinks.
flight? Was it like a flight where like three like kind of smaller sizes so you get the little
Yeah.
flavor? Yeah, flights are the
Uh
best way to go. If you're at like a brewery, anywhere that options that has like a flight option, because usually it's with beers, but like now they start doing it with like cocktails and margaritas and shit. Always go with the flight. You might pay a little bit more, but just getting all the flavors, like you gotta enjoy yourself.
mhm. But nah, that's just exactly what that bitch was. And that was so like yeah, I'm slightly slizzed and I'm enjoying and I'm living life right now.
Well, shit, we're about to get the truth out of you on how you really feel about some of these teams. But before we jump into the whole slate, let's take a bigger picture view right now of the standings on the week. Kev went a respectable 8-5 on the week, including Thursday and Monday. I went 11-2. Damn near could have went 12-1 if I would have just let my gut lead the way. But then you go to the locks, Kev. Phenomenal weekend, 4-0 as the podcast on our locks. You had Vikings, Packers. I had Ravens, Packers. Dogs, 0-2. You took the Rams, your only dog on the slate. And I took the Bears, which I feel like was the only dog on the slate that I had wrong. It's just don't fucking lock up my dogs. The dogs are atrocious for me. 3-11 on the fucking year. But how
Bro,
did
this
you
shit's
feel about
insane.
yeah, I was like, how do you feel about here after hearing those numbers?
Bro, after hearing the numbers, nigga, I fucking had to cross these shits off. And I was like, bro, this nigga Paul is just there's no red. Because what I do is I write everything in black. And then I have one red pen in my entire world. Not like I for some reason I only own one red pen. And if this red pen goes missing, it's all hell breaks loose. But I keep it on me. And I'm crossing my shit off. And I'm like, damn, another one, another one. I'm just looking at your shit, it's fine. I'm like, this nigga's on a heater. Like, I only picked 5 wrong games, and one of them was just because I needed the dog, and it was the last game to fucking pick. It was the second to last game to pick. So I'm like, oh, fuck. And then the Cowboys, how the fuck do we know that these motherfuckers is gonna fucking take it back on the special teams? And then the Commanders are gonna miss a kick. Like, I'm just like, this is football. How the hell did Will Levis take 7 sacks in the first half? And
Well,
they
Bill,
not only win, but they had the lead at halftime. I was like, this is crazy. This is football
actually,
at its
we can open up with both of those games, because there's all Connor's like the biggest underdogs. There's what 11-point dogs and the Cowboys, and I think the Titans were like at 8 7 point dogs also. So
There were
which
crazy
which one
slates this week.
which one you want to jump on first out of those two?
Let's go Cowboys because we talk a lot of shit about them boys. So when they do win, we gotta make sure we highlight that because I don't can't speak for you. But I talk a lot of shit about how the boys aren't good at the game of football. And I was looking at the numbers. You know they average 93,000 fans in the stadium.
Jerry World's a real deal thing.
And they've lost like the only game that they haven't lost by 20 plus points at home this year was the Ravens when they were down by 20 and they made a comeback at the end and still lost. Like
Yeah,
I think
no,
that's
I believe it.
crazy.
There's like last year they beat teams on average by 16 points at home. This year has been just an absolute like opposite effect that's getting killed by that many at home.
Cowboys fans are down bad. But this week they came Cooper Rush and the boys came in the motherfucking Dallas, came into Washington and got the dub. But the craziest thing to me, Paul, what was the final score?
A 34-26.
It was 3-3 at halftime, and the Cowboys had kicked the field goal to go to kick the field goal at the last second at halftime to tie up the game. They scored 41 points combined in the last 5 minutes. No,
Yeah,
I
I was gonna
think it
say
was
because
more.
if you're looking at it just like the beginning of the fourth quarter, it's 10-9. Before any for
Dead
all the
fucking
fourth
ass.
quarter magic.
I want to say either don't quote me. It was either 41 points in the fourth quarter and then 20 something in the five, or all 41 in the last five. But it was insane. Like you kicked it to Ronnie Turpin. Bill told us weeks ago, don't kick it to him. I literally was watching that touchdown he had like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, damn, that motherfucker's fast.
Do you know?
When
Do you
he
know
hit
his
that,
the Turbin story? Right. My dad put me onto his story.
nah, I
He
know that fucking spin move. That's what I know.
he he's from XS. He's from the XFL. The like 2 years ago when XFL did their one season, and like I think Brandon Aubrey, the kicker himself, is also from the XFL. He was a kicker for that, and like Turbin was just lining it up like this crazy special team like that. He was the Devin Hester of the FX, and he was like, "Fuck it, we'll bring him." And then last year was like his first year or 2 years. It was whenever his first year was. He was already the one of the best kick returners in the league, and it was like, huh, like, okay, fucking. And then now it's like everybody knows. Well, at least other than Washington, don't kick the ball towards Turbin.
Do not kick it to that muff. And the thing is, he pulled a Dion. He muffed it.
Yeah, that makes it so
He
hard.
he muffed it, and I'm just thinking as a special teams player, I'm coming down. I'm about to get this fucking tackle. Next thing you know, these motherfuckers start getting blocks. I get hit with the dirtiest spin move in the fucking I've seen in a minute. Like,
Spin cycle.
I'm a big LT fan, so I know what a good spin move looks like. But spin cycle the fuck out them boys and turn that all the way up. And what do you go like 22 miles an hour, 20? He has to go
Right.
anywhere from 22 to 25. Like it shit was insane how he turned
And
it up on him.
the drip of like he muffs it and is like, oh fuck, let me pick it up with one hand. Like he oh fuck. He doesn't even like really like, oh shit, but he picked that bitch up with one hand and looks like, oh fuck. And the hard like he puts that right foot down and just spins off of it so hard. I was like, that literally was a video game move. Like the college football game, NCAA had a nerf the spin move because it was looking like that. And they were like, yeah, I mean, that's not realistic. That's not how people are doing it nowadays. And then all of a sudden I see Turbin pull that bitch. I was like, oh fuck. Because I saw the 99 yard. I didn't see it, but then I saw the actual clip of it and I was like, oh, he dropped that bitch? And he picked that bitch up. Oh fuck.
That was in football right there. And then, but you can't stop it because scary. You got scary Terry. What was that? Like an 85, 60 something. Like I don't. How far? How
86
long was that?
yarder.
Scary Terry. 86 yards. Turn that bitch up all the way up the field, and this motherfucker missed the field goal. We're
No,
going
like
to OT. You see Dan Quinn. I've never seen a motherfucker put up a one so fast in my life, Paul. I'm talking about. I'm looking like, damn, y'all finna go for two. They immediately turn to Dan Quinn. One, what? Like, nigga, what? You didn't
and
even think
Siebert
about
and
it.
Siebert's been the most like automatic kicker of the year almost. Like he's like it was like anything under 35. I think he was like 30 of 30 going into this week or something. It was just like he doesn't miss those. Even his face, the look on his face, the camera panned to his face when he missed it. Like
Sick. He's like, fuck, like sick. But like, there's no such thing as automatic kicking in 2024. I don't believe it. And
no,
then
because
you
even
do that.
Brandon Aubrey missed like I think two this game. He had one blocked early and he missed like a 38 yard like a chip shot for him. So even on that side, I was like, oh damn, the Cowboys can't cover the 10.5 because they're gonna be missing field goals. Fuck around, they won the game.
And then the outside kick, cause I had to wait till I seen the Bill Belichick breakdown, and it was like, bruh, you only get like two or three of those a year. They say when you get one of those, you got to take that picture. He took it all the way up. That was exciting football for the last 5 minutes. And the beginning, I'm not going to say it was great defense. I think it was a very snooze fest game, but they picked it up when it was time to win.
And on the pod, we were picking. I was like, the 10.5 as betting man. I'm taking the 10.5. I thought Washington still win, Dan Quinn and all that, but I wasn't sold on Washington. Them and another team that we'll bring up later. Actually, be right after this. I was just wasn't. I'm like, they just have too many hiccups every week. I'm like, yeah, they win, but like not the first 6 weeks. They're the hottest team in NFL, and they kind of fizzled out since. And that's just where I kind of felt with Washington. And this game, especially, I think this is a game where they take this loss and it can be good for them. They kind of got smacked in the mouth. They lost the game they shouldn't have. Maybe they tighten up and Jay Daniels looks better the second half of the season. Because as of like this week, I don't know what the odds are. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, like Bo Nix is the favorite as the rookie of the year contest, especially after Jay Daniels 2 interceptions this game. They lose to the Cowboys, and Bo Nix and Broncos are continually winning.
Bro, they've told us a million times, man. That boy, what's his name? Herb Street, not Kirk Herb Street. What's the jet offensive coordinator? Used to coach the Cardinals.
Oh, Kingsbury?
Yeah, him, Cliff. That boy be getting figured out. Second half of the year, we've seen it with Kyler. We're seeing it with Jaden. People playing the defense differently. But yeah, I was shocked that they was able to shut the boys down because the Cowboys made a lot of errors that you could have picked it up on, but they just didn't finish. But that's all I have for this game, man. I was surprised. It was a good game in the last 5 minutes, but I was definitely shocked, and I don't know what the Commanders are going to do next.
And then from the highs of one Texas team to the lows of the other, the Houston Texans, the other shocker, 27-32, losing to Tennessee. Tennessee, another road team getting the win. I was on Tennessee. I was divisional game. There's going to be keep it close, and I was like, this CJ Stroud hasn't looked too good this year. I was worried about their defense. Like, oh, their defense could probably put Will Levis in a box. I said the only person I think could beat Will Levis or this Titans team will be Will Levis, and he tried his best for his interception. I think it was the pick six or something. Yeah, the 65-yard pick six towards the end of the fourth, going into the fourth quarter where the Texans take the lead. I was like, fuck, that's it for us. And then all of a sudden, Chiggy Okonkwo, the tight end, takes a 70-yard touchdown to that house. They take the lead. And then CJ Stroud gets the ball, and he almost pulls the Dan Orlovsky where he runs out of bounds with in the back of the end zone. He didn't run out of bounds because he got sacked. He got fucking hit right beforehand. But he was literally like 2 steps away from, oh fuck, that motherfucker just ran out of bounds. And like CJ Stroud played a decent game, but he had 2 interceptions. This is just sophomore slump. Some people are saying it, but them in Washington were before we started. We were talking college football, and I said there's some teams that they win games, but there's still major holes in these teams where they're not the contendership ready yet. And like their Texans was the other team that I kind of thought of. I was like, yeah, everyone likes the Texans. We know CJ Stroud, we know Nico Collins, we know Joe Mixon, we know they have a good defense. But when you watch them play, they're not a cohesive unit of like, yeah, this team can win a Super Bowl this year. This team will be contending for a Super Bowl. It's You're losing games against the Tennessee Titans, who just dropped 32. Tony Pollard had over 115 rushing yards. Will Levis puts up 275. Defense gets a safety, gets 2 interceptions on you. Like that's not a good game. Like y'all put up 27, but that's not a good game.
Yeah, I just look at this Texas team as there's proof that you can't just crown a motherfucker immediately. Like we were so ready to crown the Texans as the next team up. Like they're the best team. They got the young up and comers. They got Stephon Diggs. Yeah, they're doing what they need. Joe Mixon, they're doing what they need to do on offense. But this team hasn't looked well. And I remember texting you at halftime thinking like, yo, this defense has 7 sacks on Will Levis. And he's still like at one point in this game he was like 9 for 9 for like 120 yards and a touchdown that was over the top. Cover two, caught Derek Stingley looking crazy. So like I'm like, bruh, this Texas team is not doing what it needs to do to win. And CJ Stroud, yeah, he had some big throws to Nico Collins over the top. He was getting to the red zone, but they were not finishing. They were not doing what they needed to do to get this job done. And it was crazy because the fucking Titans have a 100% red zone percentage. Their defense gives up a 100% red zone percentage. So 100% of the time, motherfuckers score. And I'm pretty sure that meant touchdowns, but I'm not going to get too deep into it. So the fact that you couldn't continue to consistently get in the red zone, move the ball where you needed to, and get to the receivers. You had some big throws for sure, but y'all could have blew this team out and you didn't. And I thought that was crazy. And it's not all on the offense because the defense definitely got caught lacking on some explosive plays for no reason.
Yeah, for me it was like Titans hit because they were getting sacks, but it was explosive play after explosive play. The Texans were letting up like this big, like a third and long converted, second and 12. Tony Pollard up the gut for 15 yards. Like it was just like damn, it just kept stumbling back.
Right. They even forced the Tony Pollard fumble. I remember I was like, all right, if Will Levis can't fucking fuck this game up, ah, at least to give it to somebody that can.
Yeah, I'm happy I stuck with the Titans. It was an ugly pick on the pod, but I'm happy I stuck with the guns because it didn't make sense on pick day. Now
Oh, not
let's
at
get to
all.
some of these blowouts so we can speed it through. Buccaneers 30-7 against the Giants in New York. We're all over this. Shout out to Baker Mayfield just doing the Tommy DeVito celebration in the end zone. Definitely had some New Yorkers, New Jersey, Italians a little upset, but that's the Oklahoma Sooner Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Baker Mayfield are two Baker Mayfields I can get behind because this guy is just fucking he don't give a fuck. He's just, he kind of just has that don't give a fuck mentality. I'm happy they put up, they won because they're definitely one of the legs in my parlay. Giants are just dead. Malik Neighbors said it best. Like it doesn't. They all saw the same fucking result. Like it didn't matter Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, fucking. It didn't matter who was out there. And I don't think anything truer could be said.
Nah, dead ass. Did Mike Evans score that touchdown for you?
No, Mike Evans did not score a touchdown. I was a little upset about that, but I was raking in enough coins with the Titans and other teams. I was like, yeah, I'm not too worried.
Bro, the Giants are so shitty. Oh my God. I was watching this game on the red zone, and I'm just sitting there thinking, like, yo, I don't even need y'all to be a good defense. I just need you not to let Bucky Irving ski. Instead, they let fucking Bucky Irving get like 6 catches and a touchdown. And on top of that, like 2 big 25-yard rushes. And I'm like, bro, the Giants are just bad all around. Like, I don't care who you released, who you fired. This entire team needs to get taken to the woodshed, taken behind back, the old yellow style, and start anew. Like, this is not a good team, and this team's only getting worse throughout the day. And it's
I was
what
say
you
the
gonna say?
team's already looking not just team, but the fans team everyone looking towards draft day already. Cam
That's
Ward, like
crazy.
Jalen Burrow, they're trying to see what quarterback are they gonna get with their top five pick.
And they finna get Cam Ward and fuck up his career. That's just fucked up. But yeah, the
I know
Giants
we're
looked
I already
abysmal.
said that.
The Giants looked abysmal. I'm glad I would never pick them in my life, but they got a lot to figure out. And it was 30-0 at the start of the fourth quarter. Like that 7 points to me is just like okay. At least you might be able to sleep at night. Maybe.
Yeah, and then another blowout, another game that was 30 it was 31-0 started the fourth quarter. Dolphins 34-15 over the Patriots. Jalen Waddle, if you kept starting him every week faithfully, he finally gave you the big game. It was like a 30 something point performance on fantasy, 144 yards and a touchdown. Tua, what, 317 and 4 touchdowns. The run game wasn't even being used that much. It was all just through the air. And I shout out to some funny ass Twitter user that said that the last concussion factory reset Tua back to Tuscaloosa Tua. And I was like, yeah, back to Bama Tua, factory reset. That's what we needed.
Yeah, I mean, I respect this game to the fullest. One, you guys are now 5-6. So coming into a
One game
game,
away. Thursday
yeah,
night, Thanksgiving football, baby.
but yeah, coming into a game 4-6 and coming out with the resilience that y'all did was pretty fun. Because I feel like I was screaming like 2 or 3 weeks ago, like three, maybe three. 3 weeks ago that like, yo, this Giants team, this Dolphins team just needs to breathe. Y'all not in the dumpster fire. Y'all have a lot of upside, and there's a high ceiling for you, even though you're in this really interesting situation. So if y'all win Thursday night and y'all can get the 6-6, y'all boys is lit. But I just look at it. This game impressed me because I felt like y'all didn't run the ball, not because you just didn't run the ball. I think the Patriots keyed in on the run game and said, yo, if y'all gonna beat us, y'all gonna have to pass. And the fact that they probably were doubling Tyreek the whole time, and the way he was able to throw 4 touchdowns still, even without his number one receiver having a crazy game like that, that was the resilience. And that showed me, like, okay, this team could be a 10-win team. They just got to win some very key matchup games.
Yeah, we got to keep the good times rolling because we got the Packers up next. So hopefully we keep this shit going. And the chip on the shoulder, like even too in the post was said like, oh, I can't wait to go to Green Bay to write all the narratives. Basically saying like everyone keeps saying we can't play in the cold. I can't wait for Green Bay Lambeau. Like I'm like, oh, okay, we got like the team's moxie's coming back, and I think with the moxie comes the explosive offense.
I
Oh,
mean, we'll
and
see.
shout out Chop fucking Robinson, number one graded defensive player all week, week 12. And he was number one graded last week. The rookie that I picked for rookie, defensive rookie of the year, probably not going to win it because it's too late in the season, but back to back weeks showing why he was a first round pick.
Yeah, that's another thing. Their defense definitely did turn up because it was 31-0 at the start of the fourth.
And then the last blowout of the 1 o'clock before we get to the last 1 o'clock games, we have the Lions beating the Colts 24-6. Both of us were all over this one. Jameer Gibbs, absolute dog. David Montgomery, absolute dog. This is just an old news, old style football, 10-1. Jared Goff, 269, but kind of made it look easy. Nothing. This whole game, this whole team, this team does not look forced. It just looks like a team that rolls through their offense. Like we're going to run the ball and we're going to do it well. We're going to throw the ball. We're going to do it well. We're going to play really good defense. And that's exactly what they did in Indianapolis. And uh, Anthony Richardson went back to earth. They only put up 6 points, and the Lions took care of business. Are they the best team in the NFL? That's the major question.
Yeah, I mean, they're beating the best teams in the NFL. They are 10-1. Their only losses to the Bucks. They just have to play a couple hit. They just have to play that 1 or 2 hitter late in the season to see like, oh, this team is a true for real. But the Lions played well. I think that having that explosive run game kept them boys having to stay true. And I just think they have this. I always think it's crazy to see their run game because David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs, I feel like are two completely different backs, but they both work in the system.
Yeah, one is up the gut, and the other is like the twitchy speed. He's not just a speedster, but he just has that twitch to him, which is just a little different than Montgomery.
Hell yeah. And yeah, I can't speak for the Colts, but they said that the Lions fan was deep at the Loud House this week.
Yeah, definitely felt like a home game for Lions, as they were saying.
That's fine. But yeah, shout out to the Lions, man.
Then we had another game super close to an upset. Chiefs 30 to the Panthers 27. Uh, fucking Ice Bryce, as Marcus called him earlier today, was definitely looking good in this game. 263 and a touchdown. Didn't get much from Chubb, but Chubb did have the big touchdown at the end of the game to tie it up. But I felt like everybody knew with a minute and 46 left on the clock, tied game, Patrick Mahomes get the ball back. We all knew what we were in for, but it did come with a little extra juice because Harrison Buckner did get hurt, so they had a backup kicker this game, so there was that little extra. Ooh, hopefully this backup kicker can make it. But he hit a 41 yarder earlier in the game and shit, so he was kind of automatic. But yeah, Chiefs once again find a way to win, real close, and at the end, 30-27.
Yeah, shout out them boys. But they just figure out a way to make everything close for no reason. And because the first half of this game, they scored like 20 points. And besides for the fact that they had settled twice for field goals in the red zone, They look like the surefire team. They look like killers. They look like hitters for real. Next thing you know, Bryce and the boys lock in. And this defense that we thought was crazy, crazy elite, and the reason why they won the championship last year, shows them holes, let them boys come back. And I respect the way that Pat was able to get the boys in the field goal range because he definitely had to run for like what 50 something yards,
Yeah, he
fake the
had.
out of bounds.
I don't know if it was the longest run in his career, but I think it was the longest run of this season for sure. That bit, he also like scooted in between a couple guys to get free to the second level. I was like, oh, okay, a little wiggle on Patty Mahomes.
Mm. So I was like, oh, this man is devious. And I think that's the Chiefs football we're going to continuously see. The boys are going to keep letting games get closer and closer for no reason. And figure out figure out what exactly they need to do to win and do that.
And then our other game that ended 30-27, but it went to overtime. Vikings beat the Bears 30-27. Caleb Williams arguably has the best day of his career so far, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 33 rushing yards. They only took about 3 sacks, and he did lead once again. A fucking at 22 seconds left, he kicks they scored the touchdown. They go for two. He converts to go for two to DJ Moore. They get the ball back again. Santos hits the 48 yarder. They go to overtime. They end up having to go 3-and-out in overtime. Vikings get the ball, set up the 29-yard field goal. Vikings win this game. But boy, like it was just another, felt like this life of the Bears fans. It was like, damn, once again, they bring it into a game. They fucking either about to tie it up, win it right here in the last second, and they do tie it up, and then they lose in overtime. And it's just like fuck. It must be terrible being a Bears fan because like every week there's a glimmer of hope. It feel like, and it just comes crashing back down. What did you think of the Vikings Bear game?
I thought that this game was very interesting just off the face that Caleb Williams and the new offensive coordinator played very well against Brian Flores' defense. I thought playing with the different packages, different looks, and different ways that they could hide what coverage they're in. I thought the Brian Flores defense is going to be a lot too much for Caleb, especially on his first try. But nah, he locked in, like you said, he had 200 plus yards, a pair of touchdowns. I just think this is the one game where they said, "Yo, bro, you have to use Sam Donald to beat me." And Sam Donald said, "All right, cool." So, and then who's the receiver that they just got? Jordan Addison.
Jordan,
Jordan
yeah,
Addison
Addison came back.
having 160 yards, like the connections. And a lot of these throws he was throwing was very much in the triple coverage sometimes. So, I don't see the Vikings as the standout standout team in the NFC or their conference or the division, but they are a good team and they can beat a lot of good teams on any given Sunday.
Well, someone made a great point because we are kind of holding them to the standard of the Vikings are 9-2, but they're not really the realest 9-2 team. Someone was like, they had a little picture of like the Lions. The Lions are 10-1, Super Bowl contenders, the best season of their whole existence. And it was the Vikings on a rebuild year, 9-2, just fucking around with Sam Darnold. I was like, that's actually not a bad way to look at it because like if you're 9-2 and you know Sam Darnold's not the future, this was supposed to be your rebuild year. You have to be feeling fucking good for a Minnesota fan.
Facts, facts. 9-2 on a rebuild year is very much an anomaly, but they're making it work, and that defense is the truth.
Outstanding. Then we had the Broncos beating the Raiders 29-19. Bo Nix does it again. He actually breaks the Broncos rookie touchdown record, which I believe was held by Elway. And they what is it 7-5 now? They're legitimate contenders for the playoffs, and they're gonna be a tough team to beat because Sean Payton has his defense, probably the best defense in the league, and Bo Nix every week has shown improvements. Um, Definitely took care of business against this Raiders team. But yeah, I wouldn't honestly. I would not want to be in the wild card game going up against a Broncos team.
Nah, facts. Like, thank God I'm in the NFC. But this Bronco team is very interesting because they've gotten better over time. Like, they've stayed consistent. They've only taken the leash off of Bella. I'm not Bella. The social. They've only
Well,
taken the leash off. Yeah, they've only taken the leash off just a little bit. So of Bo
what?
Nix. So it's very it's very interesting to see where this team goes because Bo Nix is low, like you said, is the leader and the rookie of the year right now.
Yeah, it's like what's his stats? I'm trying to see. I don't have him in front of me, but it was something like in his last 6 games or something. He's like, or last 7 games. It's like he's like 17-2, like touchdowns to interceptions.
Nice.
And it's like, yeah, Bo Nix has. So I hated on him, but he has started looking like a really, not really good, but a really good rookie quarterback that can lead a team. And like he's kind of got the boys around him humming. Cortland Sutton is like a top 15 wide receiver right now in fantasy because of that. And Bo Nix in the last like 6 weeks has been a top 10 fantasy quarterback. So like, if you got him, start him. Then on to the 4 o'clock games, Kev. 38-10. Packers take care of business against the 49ers. And Josh Jacobs has 3 touchdowns. And I feel like a lot of people will be talking more about Josh Jacobs if it wasn't for Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley right now. But Xavier McKinney with another interception, and that man really might win Defensive Player of the Year off of this his play at safety this year.
Hmm.
How you feeling
That's
about the
kind of
Packers Niners game?
that's kind of gangster kid. I mean, the Niners just showed that you can blame injuries all you want, but when you're playing a good team, they're not going for that.
Yeah, because like from the opening jump, it was like the Packers were just it was kind of close 7-7, I think, early. And then after that, the Packers just kept fucking scoring and scoring. And the Packers looking good. I mean, my take of 3 NFC North teams into the playoffs is looking better by the week.
We love to see it.
Then we
And
had what's
hold
up?
up. But like this is what the Packers look like when they don't turn the ball over. And I'm just like I was watching this game and I was thinking, we used to rip Josh Allen to shreds about those anytime TDs every week. But like Jordan Love is living that life. So like low key I'm gonna have to start being a little more critical of that boy. Even though we
Yeah,
love him.
it was 11 games in a row he thrown an interception. This is his first week in 11 weeks where he hasn't thrown one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they keep finding ways to win, though. I mean, and then the 49ers, I don't want to say they're done, but they're 5-6. They gotta start winning games because y'all not making the playoffs right now. Then we have the newly crowned 6-5 NFC West #1 team. The Seattle Seahawks beat the Cardinals 16-6, Kev. And this game was honestly no offense, bad offense, no. And then all of a sudden, third quarter, Kobe Bryant, 69-yard interception return on Kyler. Kyler's breaking the pocket. He tries to float one into somewhere right into Kobe Bryant's hand, takes it to the house. And that to me was the what broke the game. Well, as soon as that happened, I felt like Seahawks had no like this game could have went either way, and then that was the one play that determined who was going to win that game. And it happened to be the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean the Seahawks came balling. I'm upset because every week I come in here and I tell you Gino is a gamer, but I just don't trust that team. But that team came ready to ball, like from them boys getting their bag to the different okie dokes. Like shout out them boys.
And then we had our primetime games here. One was well, some were kind of ass whoopings.
Oh fuck, we
Eagles,
were talking Seahawks and Cardinals.
yeah,
Super quick before I get off that. My bad. I'm still kind of drunk. But the Cardinals, I don't trust them no more because I don't know what the fuck this team is. Their division is fucking for fucking anybody. You just went from number one to probably like number three. And there's a way to beat you. Like if you don't establish the run game and you can't those over the top crazy passes to Marvin Harrison is not open because now that we know that you can't run this bit. So I'm not gonna say I can't trust the Cardinals no more, but I'm like, especially in divisional games, especially a team that's going against a team that's undefeated in their division, I might have to take the other team every time.
And I'm not gonna lie, like the Marvin Harrison Jr. He was supposed to be like the most ready to go wide receiver prospect like ever, and like it just hasn't happened yet. Like there's games where I just forget he's even playing until I get the notification like, oh, big catch from Marvin Harrison, your fantasy, like he scored 2 points. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he's on my team. Like Malik Neighbors, we know Malik Neighbors, bad quarterback, good quarterback, don't matter. We see Malik Neighbors. Oh,
But
that boy Gator locked in right now. Got anything you want to say to Gator?
so that nigga, um, what's the dude that's about to beat Shakur? That's what Shakur's about to fight.
Oh,
Oh,
Kid
Floyd.
Austin.
Yeah, tell him Kid Austin, washed his Floyd. Kid Austin washed his Floyd. Just to start the bullshit.
You heard him. But then back to the games. We round out with the Sunday night game and Monday night. Eagles 37, the Rams 20. Saquon Barkley enters the MVP race after this game. 255 rushing yards, historic franchise record for the Eagles, top 10 rushing performance ever. He's on pace to break the record for rushing yards in a season. Um, Eagles are looking fucking red hot right now. 9-2, top tier defense, top tier offense, and top tier offensive line. I mean, they can't be stressed enough. They probably have the best O line in NFL, and it shows. What did you
Yeah,
think of
dead
this
eyes.
Eagles performance? This ass
I
whooping.
mean, the Eagles fucking slid, and I want to give so much respect to Saquon for getting the finals, for getting the Eagles record, franchise record. He's on pace to go to break the Eagles rushing record, and you can tell he's just playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's back for vengeance, right? But I don't see it just like that. I think this defense locked in crazy. I think the play calling wasn't crazy questionable, which is powerful. So I think this Eagles team is a lot better. A lot of people are saying they're better than the team that actually went to the Super Bowl, played well, and lost by 3 points. So I think this Eagles team was peaking at the right point. And me picking the Rams was me saying, I think this is where they slow down and they stop. But now they're keeping a full head of steam. They're going to keep on going. And 255 is crazy. Like, that's how sick I would be if I was one of the GMs that said no to Saquon.
Yeah, or the team that let him off the squad to an NFC
For,
rival, division
for
rival.
nothing. For nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Giants fans, we get on stress enough. Like, y'all are on the bottom of the bottom right now. Like, no one wants to play for y'all. The team is bad, and then you're watching Saquon potentially break a record first year on the rival team. Saquon gonna keep eating, and Saquon, I don't know if you saw during the game, he handed that ball off to somebody after he scored a 70-something yard touchdown for the 255. And afterwards, the guy was telling him like, "Yo, you just handed off the ball of the record that you just," and then he's on the sideline. Oh fuck, fuck, fuck. It was just like it was a funny ass moment.
I must have seen that.
And then we had the final game of the slate: Ravens 30, Chargers 23. We were both on the Ravens. I know it was hard for you to pick against your boy, but we forgot to highlight it was the Harbaugh Bowl. It was both the brothers going against each other here. Ravens took care of business. Derrick Henry 140, definitely second half. He was running over some motherfuckers, but like it was a close ass game. And then the fourth quarter, I felt like the Ravens hit that second overdrive and the Chargers just couldn't put together a drive to put up to match the points. And then the Ravens carried away
Facts.
with it.
Facts. Me as a motherfucker that picked the Ravens, I was like, okay, I'm loving this. But This game was pretty close, like most of the game. Like it was 16-17 until like the Ravens scored on the fourth.
Yeah, it
So
was.
like
I was in there going crazy.
yeah, and the next thing you know, the Ravens start just taking off. Justice Hill gets a 51-yard touchdown to kind of ice the game. But they look good. I feel like they still had crazy penalties. They need to tighten that up, discipline that. But they didn't let Justin Herbert go crazy with the pass yards. And they did what they were supposed to do was stop the run. And I think when you don't let motherfuckers get too physical and too comfortable and in that pocket and running around doing whatever they want, and they really take care of the run. That's Ravens defense, and that's the defense that can get them far deep in the playoffs and the Super Bowl berth. But they got to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I think this showed more because like when the Ravens played the Broncos, I was highlighting the Broncos on like you don't want to play them, and they blew them out. Like they showed like yeah we're on the same class. The Chargers on the other hand, it was a ball game. Like that's the difference. Like Bo Nix 2, 3 years from now could be maybe be like a Justin Herbert, like a real deal like guy with like okay he's kind of dangerous with the ball in his hand. The Chargers already got that guy. Where like everyone's worried about J.K. and Gus Edwards. If Quentin Johnson can catch a fucking ball, no, this is a completely different game. Like the Chargers showcase that they belong in that contendership status. They're just not the prettiest about going about it, but this is one tough fucking team because it wasn't like the Ravens ran away with this. It was like the Ravens had a tough ball game until they put up some points in the fourth quarter. But you never know. This is gonna be, and the Ravens do keep shooting themselves in the foot. There's so many big plays, so many touchdowns get called back because illegal formation, illegal shift, holding, offensive holding. Like there's little illegal man downfield, little shit like that that they do need to clean up if once they get to the playoffs. And hopefully they do clean it up because it would suck if that's the reason why the Ravens lose a playoff game is a couple big plays getting called back. But I mean, it's been a crazy week. Hopefully, we can keep this heater continue because 11-2, 8-5 are not bad picks. Hopefully, we can keep this shit going. Keep the locks hitting. Next week, I guarantee we're gonna hit on our dogs, Kev. I feel it in our gut. But as
Respected. But before we get up out of here, the Ravens got the Eagles next, and the Chargers have a semi not tough schedule. What do you see their futures coming?
so, like playoff bound wise and everything.
Yeah,
So right now, I think the Chargers are making the play because I'm still thinking the Dolphins are about to pull off this comeback and we're going to sneak in on that seventh seed. And I think the Broncos are going to be the team that misses out. But I do think the Chargers are solidified at that sixth spot. Um, if anything, if the Steelers, in my opinion, are the team to watch in the AFC because the Ravens are 8-4 and the Steelers are 8-3. But if the Steelers start because they're not the best football team. So if the Steelers start losing a few games towards the end of the stretch, they could go from the number 3 seed to out of the playoffs. And then the Chargers sneak in, the fucking Dolphins and the Broncos all sneak their way in. But I do think both these teams are playoff caliber teams. I think the Chargers for sure going to the playoffs, and I would not be shocked if they pull an upset in the wild card against like a Texans or let's say the Steelers end up winning that division. It could be the Steelers versus the Chargers come week one, or it could be the Texans versus Chargers wild card weekend. And both of those games, I think the Chargers could win those games. Ravens, on the other hand, as long as they're going to be in the playoffs. It's just all about how far in the playoffs we go, and that all dictates on cleaning up all the penalties. Because if you don't clean up the penalties, you're going to lose. You're not going to the Super Bowl.
facts.
Oh, that's a good question though. But we gotta get up out of here and stay tuned because Thursday night preview is not gonna be one game. We got 4 games to talk about. We got Thanksgiving triple header coming up and the Black Friday game, second annual Black Friday game of the year. So as always, stay tuned for the previews for Thursday and Friday, the preview for the rest of the slate, and UFC and boxing for the rest of the year. I'm Paul Picawinno, Kev, Waterboy Savoy. Y'all didn't know.